got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sailed the Little Floor anymore?
Our home, our livelihood, all sunk in a matter of minutes while we could do naught but look on. Well, we were merchants what seemed like a moment ago. With our ship sunk, we're little more than 3 men with nothing more to say than boo. Ah, these bleeding orcs! They can't keep off this place for the life of them! They came in here slinging fireballs and swinging swords. Wasn't a thing we could do to defend ourselves. With our ship gone, nothing for it but to get a job. Slim pickings round here, that's for sure. Maybe you can keep an eye out, though. That was a right stunning show of magic you pulled, it was. Wish you'd been around when our own barge went down in flames.
No, it ain't. He drove it straight to the pub and back.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
Ahoy, sailor! Are you enjoying the fresh winds of Sicile? Aye, that Cecil's worse than a rooster. Crowing all around town about matters he ought to know are better kept quiet. Well, if you know about the staff, I suppose you also know it's gone without a trace. For my part, I haven't a clue where it could have gone. Overboard, stolen, or vanished into thin air. Though I'm quite eager to see it return. I've got a reputation to uphold, you know. Wouldn't hurt to ask some of my men. I tried myself, but sailors tend to be a bit tight-lipped when they're afraid of getting one another in some trouble. Seaman's code, you know. Not to rat out a fellow sailor. Those orcs must be out of their barbarous minds launching an attack on a city where a great wizard resides. Though even I must admit they put up a hearty effort. I'll tell you, the only time I'd consider waging a suicide campaign like that would be if whatever I sought was something worth dying over.
Things that orchid
Shores? Here? In Sicile? Bah!
Of all the cursed hunks of rock to land on, Conrad chooses this one. Star for what now? No, never heard of it, much less seen it. Check with one of the others, maybe. And don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sailed the Yuthel Gore anymore? Sauce? Here in Sicile? Dow. Of all that cursed hunks of rock to land on, Conrad chooses this one. Now that you mention it, I noticed Dietmar, a fellow merchant travelling with us, carrying a sealed box off the ship during the attack. At the time, I figured he was just escaping with his personal effects. But it could well have been that staff you're talking about. Well, sure, I saw him slip off the ship, but I haven't a clue where he could possibly be now. Captain Conrad's the man to ask for such matters.
Sailor, what news from the mainland?
Oh, looking at you, sir. Zombie.
Heard anything about the whereabouts of the magic stick yet? What? That weasel has it for sure. But I'll tell you this. I didn't speak of that stuff to a soul on board. If he's the one who took it, he must have known it was on the ship before stepping foot on her decks. I'm sure he'll make a run for it, probably by boat. I'd look for him on an out-of-sight beach somewhere. He's probably there now, trying to launch a vessel in private. If he hasn't already escaped, that is.
That loopy legionnaire really thinks that orchid charm loves him.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Psst. Ever heard about the time the captain took the Duchess of Federal's carriage for the joyride?
Ha! No, it ain't. He drove it straight to the pub and back.
I'm overheating here!
Baking like a cake. Source Hunter. A sight for sore eyes if ever there was one. I know you're probably knee-deep in that awful murder investigation, But truth be told, the Legion could use your help as well. We've been conducting a series of expeditions into undead territory, and I'm afraid I must admit they've met with very little success. Lieutenant Selenia, at your service. I'm Captain Aureus' second-in-command, but rest assured I am a lot more kindly inclined towards source hunters than he is. Now, I certainly don't mind a bit of healthy competition, and even rivalry between our orders, but I, for one, have no intention of looking a gift horse in the mouth. And that is exactly what your presence in Sicil is, source hunter. A gift and a blessing. Only heroes such as yourself can make a true difference in this troubled part of the world. Such is my honest conviction. The undead. I pitied them at first. Many among them were once kind and innocent civilians of Sicil, after all. No longer do I feel that way, though. Too many of my soldiers have fallen. The dead must be put down without mercy, if we can. The bravest among my men and women tell me they are weaker in the west and stronger in the east. So I suggest you head westward if you want to flex your muscles and test the waters before blindly diving to your death. I shall be very glad to share what information I can give you. It's very sweet of you that you are trying to get these men a job, but I'm afraid they're not Legion material. Sure, they can tie a knot and blow a whistle like the best of them, but even with a sword in their hands, they wouldn't stand a chance against the undead, and I don't want any more blood on my hands. If ever we want to be victorious in Sicil, we have to track down the root of the undead uprising. Under the Pact of Volunteers, 3 expeditions were launched to do just that, but so far, none of their participants have returned. 3 landmarks were chosen for further investigation: the lighthouse, the burial mounds, and the old church. Places fraught with danger all. There's a lighthouse to the west, up on the bluffs, overlooking the sea. No man has gone there in a decade, and yet a light shines from its pinnacle every night. The locals say it's haunted, and half a dozen legionnaires have gone to find out whether or not those are mere tall tales. I fear for their safety. There are ancient burial grounds to be found north of the city. As good a place as any to start looking for necromancers, wouldn't you say? A local archaeologist offered to tag along with the men. Here's hoping his knowledge on the subject may prove to be of use to them. There's a church to the northeast of here, built atop the very place where once stood a temple dedicated to the source. The Sicilians razed it, and built a church for the 7 instead, supposedly to symbolize the victory of the gods over evil sorcery. All superstitious mumbo-jumbo, if you ask me. But when the dead rose, that is when they were first spotted. Hence the expedition. So I did. The Pact of Volunteers. Many legionnaires will do whatever it takes to go home, which is why I personally sign their transfer orders the moment they make it back from a mission behind enemy lines. The chances of survival during these sorties are only about 1 in 10, you see. So my soldiers are free to volunteer, and if they are successful, they just bought themselves a boat ride home.
Looks like that dog is awfully agitated.
Perhaps he wants to tell us something.
So many dead civilians.
Here lies David,
It's
who
an
ran
honor
from
to
the
visit the
Reaper.
fallen.
You'll never catch
But
me
yours
alive.
is not a sad fate, I think. To join the grass, to become food for the trees and flowers.
Rest in peace,
What could
darling.
be more peaceful?
Here lies Jake. Please do not disturb.
Maybe now you can learn something
It's a
useful.
rotting sheep's
Like how
corpse.
to wash your
It seems
underfeet.
someone snatched Jake's body.
Everything we do seems to fortify your abilities.
Peace, darling.
There's no experience to be won from pestering me with vapid flattery.
Here lies David, who ran from the Reaper. You'll never catch me alive.
Rest in peace, darling.
Come on into the air!
That shovel has proven worth its weight, it seems. Enough to finish this mission with a long vacation in the tropics, gazing side by side at a burgundy horizon, if we're lucky.
Peace be with you, traveller. May your lost loved ones rest in peace. I once lived a prosperous life with my husband and our happy little daughter, Loni. But when the undead plague broke out, my dear husband was among the first killed. Loni never recovered from the loss. And when a group of mercenaries, predators, more aptly called, came to town dangling the opportunity to annihilate those undead devils, Loni lapped up their rhetoric and joined without so much as a backward glance. She was killed less than a week after she joined. Here she lies, and here I stand, mourning the death of my last joy.